Hello and welcome to episode 19 of Solo Factory. Sort of part 2 of the little mini project to build this central storage system. I have main part of focus of this episode will be building the conveyor belts that are starting from this end, this part of the factory. There are 11 production towers in here. Of those 11, we've already got 2 on the left that are transporting circuit boards and heavy modular frames to other parts of the factory. The one to the third from the left is actually our aluminium clad sheeting, which actually doesn't go anywhere. It stops basically there. We've got crystal quartz that goes that way, then down that way, then to there. We've got, I think it's heat sinks. I'm not too sure what's in the middle there, but we've got, actually let's go ahead and check what we've got there. Can't remember what got in oh yeah, so that's heavy fused modular frames, cooling systems. That doesn't come from the factory, that comes from another part of the other factory. It doesn't come from a production tower, sorry. We've got aluminium casings. Plastic is another one that doesn't come from this production towers in this area. It comes from another part of the map basically. And those two belts are actually taking stuff to other parts of the factory. The one that's empty was taking coal at one point, but not any longer. So we've already got, of the 11 that is producing items sort of underneath us, we've got 6 already been taking stuff to the other parts of the factory. So what we've got to do is basically reroute those half dozen or so, add the other 5, and then figure out what we're going to do with the items that are coming in from other parts of the factory, because they should take the same route. I'm thinking of basically coming from somewhere in the middle or underneath this production tower and going straight up that way, because that'll then line up with that one, so I can take stuff into that part of that setup. Things that need to go over to this right part can be on the right hand side and take the right hand loop, so to speak, right hand turn. The thing will be is I'll need to then have the ability to have some of those items go essentially to the left, because I'm thinking yes, so what I'm thinking is we will have all the belts essentially coming up that way. We'll then have some going right there, so we'll have them all coming up through to there. Some will come off that way. The main structure will be somewhere over here, so we'll have to have belts coming that way off this run. And as we won't have anything, as we have nothing coming from the top factory into the bottom factory, we just have these ones coming straight out here and going straight into there. This is going to be the tricky one, because we have to come out of this section and basically cross all the streams effectively and come into this way somehow. So we may have them coming in over here somewhere and sort of joining in and doing that. I'm not too sure at this point, but I think at this stage we'll just try and get this main run going up from where we're basically going straight up through there, and then we'll branch off to these ones and then figure out the rest later. So yeah, so that's what we're going to try and do. So basically and there have to be multiple levels, so there'll have to be multiple levels of this, because just the nature of how many belts running. Some will have to go left into the main storage where that's all they'll go to. Some will have to branch off to the right. Some will have to go off to, and also there's left to put them into the main factory or storage area. Some have to go left and right because they've got to go into the storage setup over this production setup over here and into the storage central system. So it'll be a bit of it's probably going to look ugly, but hopefully with a couple of with some multiple levels we can make it not look too bad and not be too bad, and then we can hide it with behind sort of frame walls and other stuff to sort of hide that it's all a bit of a mess underneath. So the first thing we're going to do is just try and plan out where we can actually go with some of these belts. So if we were to, we're going to come out of this structure here. So first thing we'll probably do is build some walls. Oh, haven't got any concrete. Okay. Luckily, the concrete factory production is just over here. Just build. So let's just build some walls down here. Go down our standard 4 levels, which will now allow us to do a foundation that goes that way, and that's not going. That's the lowest I would normally go. The fact that that's going through there is actually really good because we can have 4 rows. Yeah, 4. So we'll have another row there. So we can have sort of 4 levels. 1, 2. So we can have our 4 levels of conveyor belts going out. And the ones that are not going anywhere other than the central storage place could be sort of on the lower levels, so as to avoid having this issue with having to go left and right and stuff like that. Because if we have the ones that are higher up that need to do that, we've got this. We can probably make the space to allow for things like splitters and that sort of thing to split the items left and right or wherever they need to go. So I think that's going to be the plan. So I think initially we'll just build a bunch of this that goes all the way through, starting from that's going to be the left edge. So basically we'll have some sort of thing, or on the side we'll do something like architecture frame walls. So I think I've used this before in other parts of the map. Just go like that. And it'll basically have that sort of behind it, and we can put things like pillars and stuff underneath it to give it some sort of vague sense of structural integrity. That's not just hanging there in midair. So let's just go out 3 and get our wall and come down 4, and then we'll go as many as we can this way. We keep I've run out of steel beams. I need to change that to foundation, just regular foundation. Take that. So if we just build this, okay, so that's a bit of a concern that's clipping through that part, but we'll probably can't really avoid it. We might be able to go around that. Keep going through until we get to, I think that's, go 100. Not too sure how far that actually goes. If we position the conveyor belt platforms, we can actually have one start there and go over that, and that won't be an issue at all. So look, that's just probably gone far enough through. So let's, I don't think I can have enough concrete to build, nowhere near enough. Let's go and get some more concrete. Get some more concrete. Grab a heap. Grab 2 rows worth, so I think we'll have... So if I now go Q... We've got 8,000. So 22,202 divided by 2 gives us about 1,100 blocks. Okay, that should be enough to begin with. Alright, so what we're now to do is build the rest of those. So what we'll do now is we'll fill in this gap. So we'll go that way for 100. There we go, and we'll do that, and we'll do that. Just build. That's using a mod called Smart to allow us to do that mass building like that. Is a incredibly useful and almost a necessity when you're using this game now to do that. Because in the game itself, they've got a feature they call Zoop, I think they've called it, and that allows you to build at most 10 items like that. Whereas Smart is actually way more broader than that. You can build a lot of things. He's gone, yeah, that's more than enough, so that's cool. So just do the same thing, also start from there. Good thing with this one, we can now do this, go back this way, gives you that sort of cameras to what it's doing, but you also know when you're about to run into something else, because you get the red, can no longer build there. Right, so we've now built the lowest level, which is good. That gives us that structure all the way through. So now we're looking at something like, yeah, coming out of the factory, the setup that's in front of us there, ones that are going to the left for feeding these, some of these towers might be on the first or second level of conveyor belts. Ones that are just going straight to storage will be on the third and fourth ones, and that will give us the flexibility, I think, to build this through. I've just spotted one I need to delete. Also get rid of those trees at some point, but that's fine. Okay, so that's given us a bit of a good starting point for a bit of a good platform for this. So next thing is we'll try and, so of the ones that are actually, going, I'm just going to turn on. So which ones are going to... So this one goes nowhere. So let's just, for the sake of making this easier on ourselves, let's just get rid of this. Don't have to worry about that anymore. By the way, I'm using a... I've got what's known as advanced settings turned on for this particular save in Satisfactory. And it allows me to do things like fly, like I'm doing now. This is not a mod doing this, is a part of the game that allows you to do this. You press double space to activate it, and now I'm falling. And now I'm using the normal. The double space allows me just to fly. You can do everything, you can build everything, but it just makes getting around a little bit easier. So yeah, so we'll have to redirect that one, but that's fine. So if we've got, so we've got circuit boards and heavy modular frames, and that's it there. And that, so they're going, so it makes sense to put these two on the left hand side of whatever row it's going to be on, because it will be going straight through and to the left. You can see they go straight through there. This one goes to the right as well, so we'll put that up on the right hand side of one of these levels so I can get easy access to the right. These three also go straight through. I believe they go straight through. Maybe actually rubber may go to the right. Let's just follow this set of belts here. No, so those three go straight through. It's the aniline casings and the raw crystal quartz that goes to the right. Plastic also goes to the right, but it goes into a factory over there somewhere, or production tower over there. So we've got those. So now the remaining ones. So I think we could probably. The thing we can also do is we can also combine. So in Satisfactory you've got these logistics category of items to build, and you've got things like programmable splitters and mergers and stuff like that. So what I may end up doing to make things easier at the point which we want to then join into the main structure for the actual storage location is have all of the belts merge into one conveyor belt that goes into the factory, and then use smart splitters to split them into the various directions they need to go to get into their particular storage container. So we don't actually have to we don't have to maintain the 4 or 5 or the 12 belts we're going to have belt runs down here to feed into the storage location, because we can just feed them into one belt and then use smart splitters and programmable splitters to split stuff left, right and centre, that kind of thing. So that's probably what we'll end up trying to do. But we do, so we're going to build those two. We're going to be on the one of the high levels. Let's just build. So build that straight through to 100 as well. 100 is probably a little bit too far. Not strictly necessary, but at least we can start. Let's build that one through as well. Oh damn. That orange effect is because it's still being built from the previous one. So now you've got, it's a pretty neat effect when the items fly into the world to build stuff. Okay, so there's going to be, so we'll have heavy modular frames and circuit boards might be on this level. So for example, if we were to, let's just go here. So just to say, we'll have go down to here. So we'll have this go through to there, just as a. So we'll do something like that. I did not want to do that height. And then you've got that will join that, and that will join that. And then just as a way we would join these together at the other end to join into that splitter that I was talking about. We do a merger at this end, which would merge everything to the left, and you can basically put these right next to each other, and they should theoretically work. But what you could also do is just do that. It's a bit ugly, so that might not be. We might have to split these out a bit further. We will have more space, of course, because we'll have that filled in. So we don't actually have to have them this close to each other. So with our, let's see if we can do some decent. Let's do some experimentation on the spacing. So if we were to go, if we have all these merging, we want to have a bit of a gap between each one. So you'd have. Maybe do something like that sort of spacing. So you'd have 5 each row, which means with the 4 of them got, we could have 20, which is more than enough. And you could even make the spacing even better because you can move this that way a bit. Get rid of these 4 and have the spacing a bit more like that. So you've actually got, yeah, that's what you'd want. So the ones on the far left, far edge of the setup are in the middle of their particular foundation. The two to the either side of center are just offset from the foundation edge, and then the one in the middle is right on the edge. So then you can have this sort of arrangement. So you can have one going there. Luckily the guidelines tell you where you're going to have to line up to. And that one there, so you'd have everything going into there. Everything into that one into that one. That one into that one, that into that. And as you've got all these going this way, you just have little mini ones in there. Like that. And then you have that would go out to the central storage unit, feeding into another set of splitters or programmable splitters. So that's going to be our setup. So that's proved, so that's good. So we've got that design nailed down. So we're going to have apps of 5 per row, per level of belt runs. So I think the next step for me to do is, now that I've got that design down, which is all part of the battle, is I will build the 2 belt runs that are going to take plastic and aluminum cases. I'll build those belt runs through. I'll also build the 2 belt runs that are going to take, the 3 that are going to take, no. So we've got the crystals, plastic, aluminum casing and the crystal, which is this one. We'll make these 3. And then we will make these 2 will be these 2, and they'll go straight through and also merge to the left, sorry. These 3 will merge to the right as well. I have to be careful with that, because if you merge stuff that goes into production towers, you might not be able to feed through enough because of the way in which the merging happens and the splitting can happen. So may not do that, but we'll see. But at minimum we'll have, we would definitely have a splitter on one of these, taking materials straight through to the left for these 2 runs on the right. So basically we'll have, so if we have it like that, let's just test this out. So if we've got 2 going that way, let's get rid of these mergers. So you normally would turn those into having 2 splitters there to split your either way. So you'd have to have them. Okay, this is gonna be interesting. How do I do this? Because I've got them on different levels. So you have one would split it to. That would split that one to the left. So I'll just do that for that. So that would split that one. That would split that one. You would then have to have this one go a bit further into its own splitter. This is where it's going to become a bit tricky. Because you have it splitting, so you're now going to have that one going all the way through, which will go... So what I'm trying to do here is just design how the splits are going to happen. Because you've got that split, but I can't... Because now you're looking at merging, and that's not a thing, because you can't have a smart programmable merger. I can only think of that we go into another splitter like that, and then have that go underneath. So you'd have something like... You're going to have multiple levels, so this is not a big issue per se. So just for the sake of what we're doing, you'd have... you'd do a... where is it? That one, which you'd put there. That would come out... wait a sec, where's the... thought there's an option to make that do the right thing there, but it's not. Anyway, doesn't matter. So you'd have stuff come out of that, so then that'd continue through to where it's got to go. That will now come down. So now you've got that underneath there. You'd have the arrow's in the wrong direction, but the desired effect is there, and that will then come out like that. So that's, as I said, we can hide all this stuff. In fact, what you might even do is you might even do that so it's on the same level, but do it on the other side. So what I mean by that is to hide having to have two different that. You put the splitter, you have the splitter there, have that feed into it, and put that there, because then this should still go through and not clip. So I'm trying to avoid clipping, is what I'm trying to also avoid here. So that's also what you could also look at doing. Also, I think if you actually build the conveyor belt wall holes, you might even be able to do them that close and still have them function, although I'm not too sure about that. You'd have to check that somehow. But that is also an option to make it just a bit closer there and a bit more space on the other side of it. That would mean you'd then have that one coming out here and going out to here. So then you'd have just one set of foundations coming out of that area. So I think it's going to be a little bit funky when we get to those areas, but I think it's doable. For these ones that are splitting to the right, you could do a similar setup, and probably have to do a separate row each, a separate one each one, because you didn't want to split left and right, left and right, left and right for all three of these. So they might have to be on different levels. So we might end up having a similar pattern of a four foundation setup like we've got here, going through all the way through like this is, and then where we're going to split to join the main factory, the other factories here, and the central storage location might also be another row of four sets of, four rows, to make it all sort of line up and make a bit of sense. Right, so the first thing I need to do, the next thing I need to do is to try and build, get these belt runs built, not populating it, because I need to do all that at the other end. Have these belt runs come through, and then design where I'm going to split off for these 5, because these are the 3 that are going to the right of the main factory, and that's their and central storage. These are going through to the stop one, going through to there, and also going to the central storage. So of those 5, now the other ones, so that's going to give us, so that's plastic, aluminium casings, and the raw crystal. So then we've got these 3 to do, and we can do them on the next level. So we'll do them on the next level. They're going straight through. So we'll build them on the next level. Which I just realised I'm now getting in the way of by doing that. So that's not a big issue because we can go down to this level and do it. Or even go across to that side. So we can even just ignore this and bring these 3 in on this row. And then once we've got that done, we've then got to bring in, so then so that'll give us circuit boards, then we've got things like heat sinks, which are actually going to another part of this area as well. So there's a bit of a, I think the areas that aren't going anywhere other than storage will come down to the very lowest levels and do them. And again, we've also got the option of combining them all into one belt and having programmers split them elsewhere. So we don't have to bring them in on individual belt runs if they're not going anywhere else other than storage. Right, so when I come back, I'll have a break. I'll come back. You'll have a break from me talking. We'll come back, and I will have hopefully built all these 5 belt runs up through this central point. 2 going straight through to the top part, 3 going to the right, and all of them splitting to the left at some point. And we'll see how that is going to work. And there are 5 belts created all the way through, and we've now got circuit boards on this one, heavy modular frames on that one, 2 smart splitters in here splitting that way. We've actually got the heavy modular frames actually going into a container. The circuit boards don't, they just stop there, but they are now being fed from their actual production source down here. So we'll just jump over here. So the circuit boards actually start just here, come down there, do that. The heavy modular frames are actually from here, so they actually come down this one into this splitter, which splits them to, I think, the fuse modular frames, and then they split this way as well, and then goes down there. And then at the far end, we've got another. We then basically have them both coming straight through here. Straight to here, both hanging left, go over to there. Both come this way, and they both go, so you break into that, and they are used for the adaptive control units. Is where they are getting used. So that's the first 2 done. There's another close to 30 to do overall between all these areas. So I've basically decided this is where I'm going to do the main split. So over there in front of us is where the central storage area is going to be. The idea of just having this split. So this is an overflow smart splitter. So the left is overflow and right is the center is modular frames. So only if there's an excess coming into here, and this backs up through the splitter, will it then go to left down to there, and likewise this is doing the same. There's obviously a lot coming in through there, so I probably could end up doing more going that way as well with the going to its own container, but I'm just not going to do that for the time being. So it still doesn't. Each production tower has their own overflow, so it's like a dual layer overflow in a weird way. So for example, look at the circuit boards, which is this production tower. So they are getting made here, coming up there, and splitting this way, and that's also got its own left is down to the production belt, overflow straight through, and then again into another smart splitter that goes right into the storage containers, and left and center is overflow. So even if I run out of storage in the central bit, I've still got these, each area, each factory, each production tower will have their own overflow as well. So now I've got 65 odd thousand, what have we got in there, just over 67,000 circuit boards, which will also essentially be a backup storage for the central one. So that'll eventually fill up, but I'll just have one container in the central area. So that is the first two down. Next bit will be to probably do, so I've got these three, which are these are going to be used for crystal and the aluminum casing and plastic, which go to the right, which is why they're going to be on the right hand side of this top one. Again, they'll have smart splitters that take their stuff overflow to the left like the other two did, and they'll come down to the next row. And I haven't decided yet, but I may end up joining when it comes into this splitting setup here, is to have all these splitting going to one point out to the left, and having their smart splitter then split them in across into their respective containers, and then any overflow from that would go into a source or an awesome sink potentially. I haven't just decided that yet, because you see I've got these three to come out of here, and the fact that these three are going to be coming down into here and taking up space on this level, which is going to be harder to get other stuff that's got to come and crisscross through here. So I may end up joining it and just making it all come out as one belt, just to make the belt runs easier to maintain and build, but I shall see. So that's the first bit down, so I'm going to come back and I'll hopefully have done these three, and we'll have crystal, probably do plastic in the middle, then we'll do crystal or aluminum casings, either way. The other two go that way. These ones will now have to come into here. So the crystal quartz basically goes, you can see it goes into, this one. So that's going to be a bit of a tricky one. I have to figure out how to do that neatly. The aluminum casings go straight through and go up here. There they are there. That shouldn't be too bad, because I can bring this on this side. And the plastic, which is over here, I think is used in the supercomputers over here somewhere. So they come up through here. Well, actually, interesting. That goes into a. Okay, so that plastic is getting split. Plastic comes up, gets split, goes that way, and also goes this way. So that could be. That shouldn't be too bad. I should be able to bring that up in roughly the same spot. Once I've done all these and got them all sort of going coming in and out of each area through the same entry portal, like this entry location, each area underneath will have to be redone again as well, just to make it better underneath. But because then you'll have four rows of belts underneath potentially. That whole thing will then be sitting on some sort of pillar built things like You can't really see it, but like that is, you see zooming in through there. Something like that will then be used. Something like this. Let me just get this right. Where was I looking? Ugh. You see the oh, Jesus, it's really sensitive for some reason. That we'll have heaps of those holding up each of these sections, and the belt runs in the middle, and everything underneath will be gone ultimately. Right, so I'll return in what is to you as a few minutes, but well, a few seconds. For me, will be several hours after I've built these three belt runs, and got them. Not entirely sure why I built them all the way through now I think about it, because they're going to all break right here, so I'm not too sure why I built them all the way through like that, but anyway, it is what it is. Alright, I'll be back in a moment. Alright, so three belts built. I'll go through what I've done with all these splitters in a moment, but let's start at the beginning and where these three belt runs start, which is way over here under the north factory. There's a slightly odd bug that I've now managed to get the directional compass directions back in, so it was an odd bug. It was really kind of odd. You have to have that turned on, other category, in this part of the map, save your game and then load it back in, and the directional compass directions come back in. Very odd. Anyhow, so what we've got. So remember, we've got plastics, which is blue ones over there coming that way currently. We've got aluminium casings which come out of this guy here and then get split various different directions. So we've got to maintain all that, which I have. And the last one we've got coming in is we've got this crystal quartz coming out of here, going all the way through that way. The very first thing we're going to do, that's where it starts from. So they come along here, they weave their way back in, so we've got plastics coming this way, we'll change that direction to there, up to there, up there, into the middle one, into the middle one of this three, or these five I should say technically. That's that one. The aluminium casings come out of here, get split into there to go to that direction, because there's other manufacturing that needs them. This one comes this way, comes out here, does a little bit of a kink there, and then comes down the right hand one. And finally, our crystal quartz comes out of here. I'll flip that round that way, up to there, and then we are onto the three belt runs. So I haven't actually set all that up yet, but that's essentially the end of it. And then we come along here. And we hear three splitters, which are smart splitters. So each one of those is a smart splitter, where they are configured to go aluminium casings to the left, overflow to, nope, that's the wrong way, overflow that way, my bad, overflow to the left, aluminium casings to the right, and we'll go none to the middle, just because I'm sure, do that. And then we've got the right hand one, which is going to have overflow to the left and quartz crystal to the right. And the last one is going to be overflow to the left and plastics to the right. So then these three that are splitting this way and these two that are splitting that way all get merged in this arrangement underneath here. So you can see if I come around here. So that's going to be, that would be the plastics. No, that, yeah, the plastics come out of that one. This one would be, that might be the plastics. I'm losing track of it under here. And they'll all merge eventually through these three mergers into a single output out of here. And I'll probably do that across all four levels of this, just to try and have one come out. And I can then deal with overflows in the actual storage location, rather than dealing with it in this level. So I'm going to do that for the time being. It might come to bite me on the bum later, but we'll see how we go. Right, in the other end here, we've got a little bit of a mess, but it's the first part of all this. So plastics, which are coming in on the one closest to us, come down, and then you can see they come down there, around there, and all the way through to there. Middle one is the crystal quartz, which is coming down across. Doesn't line up particularly well in here, so it might look a bit ugly in here, but it'll do for the time being. And then the last one is aluminium casings coming straight through, and then we'll make a left turn there and close them off. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to change the source. Oops. So that they will flow down their new particular belt runs. So what that means is we're going to go into our aluminium casings ones, we are going to dismantle that, turn that around like that. You now have a very small belt run in there. And so we've got casings coming down there and casings coming down there. And then we'll come over here, this comes down to here, you can see it's already emptied this run. We then, what I say is going to kick in, we'll do that to... no, can't. Oh. So we'll just join up these runs because the cooling system, I believe it is, requires the aluminium casings. So where was I? I've lost track. I lost complete orientation. Where was I? Ah, there. So that will join to that. So they'll now keep falling into that, which is good. So that's that done, and then we will go and dismantle this bit, which will give us, come across here a little bit, come at about there, and turn right to there. That will send the plastics down that one. And down that, there's the casings going down there. The next thing, last at this end, is we will dismantle this guy. And dismantle that, and that, and that. And we'll come down there, turn that way, and join that to that. So what we'll basically now need to do is just wait until the crystal quartz and the element, well, the three of these existing belts are emptied before we redirect these things. But they should already now be coming down here. They won't be going to the overflow yet because they're not backed up just yet. Plastic probably won't be too long. Casings are backing up, so they'll probably be in there. You can see if I'm trying to dismantle it, did have something of it. And if we just go underneath there, there's casings coming in there. Now they won't be able to go any further into that because that needs to be continued on, but that's what we've got. And yep, that's good. Plastic is now backed up and the crystal is flowing through, but we need to actually wait until all of this is emptied on all three of those belt runs before we can actually remove it completely. Plastic hasn't got far to go. It's a bit of a weird display issue with the way this game is now displaying stuff. This will now mysteriously move along as I sort of change direction. Actually, I might just remove that for a second. It's just a counter. But I think that's now functioning, so that's all good. See, that's slowly getting consumed. Eventually, so that will eventually empty that run. And what we can do is one that's emptied. Come along here, come along here, come along here. just change that. Basically, do that and join up to there. In fact, that's where we're going to join up to. So, just got to wait till that empties, and we can do that little bit. Likewise, you do the same for the casings and the same for the crystal quartz. So there's the existing run, and it's just, you can just see, it's just to there. So the casings aren't that far away from finishing. Oh, I just realised that there's a split there that I didn't realise was there. Okay. Okay. Change of plans. You have to rejig this a little bit. I didn't realise that was there. I hadn't spotted that earlier. So what we're going to have to do is, I've got a solution for that. I'll wait till this is finished and then we'll do it, because we can just come out of there to about there, give or take, and we'll just put on this side here, we'll put a conveyor belt lifter that'll take the input from that belt run. So we'll just wait till that's nearly done, then that we don't have to change anything here, which is not a big benefit, but it's a small one. I'll wait for that. We'll just see what the plastic's up to over here. It's getting close to finishing. I think the casings might be quicker to finish, I think. Yep, casings are... Oh, I don't know if this is a weird bug with the graphical bug with this, because there's one of these big gaps in here. There's these gaps of stuff. There certainly shouldn't be anything running on that anymore. There's weird gaps. I wonder if they're... There's definitely nothing coming out, so I'm not too sure how that's sort of happening. Anyway, we'll just dismantle all this as we go. There's also the same things happening with this plastic. It's got some weird groups of stuff as well. Weird. Oh, that's a bug for update 8? I'm not too sure. I've not seen that before. Right, I'm going to make the assumption that plastic has actually gone past it. Okay, right, join that to that, done. Right, we'll go see whether aluminum casings have actually finished. Right, I'm just going to dismantle that, and we're going to wait till that clears. That's odd, that's a splitter, and that should just be splitting that way constantly. You can see there's nothing moving into the belt. That's really odd. Anyway, we'll do this. Turn it that way. So, come out of there. And do a little hook that way. That's now flying in both directions, that's fine. Alright, so that's that bit. Our crystal quartz, it's got a lot more to go. I suspect that's because it doesn't get used much. How far has that got to go? Yeah, not that far actually. But what we'll do is we'll just dismantle that just to give it a known endpoint. We can now start dismantling some of this. And the plastic one. I actually think that might just be a display bug, I'm not too sure. Anyway, get rid of all of this. These last little bits. And that. Yeah, how far is this got to go? It's still going. Alright. Alright, that's looking good. Just check if that casing stops moving. Yep, it's moving. Where is that one on the right? Where's this guy? Alright, so you're going to there. Oh, what's there? Oh, you're going to... Oh, is it radio control units? Does that need it? Yes, radio control units need 80 a minute. Okay. And the oscillators. Yeah, okay. Right. Right. The aluminium casings here are used in these things. Which is the infused iodine filter thingy bobs that keep you protected from the radiation and stuff. Okay, so just waiting for that crystal quartz to get emptied. That is a weird little issue. That keeps on sort of not just refreshing or not displaying stuff correctly. I do actually have this coal, which was... Then there's a pure coal node, which I was using at some point for... I think coal was going down to... I can't remember what I was using it for now. Not needed anymore, so we'll get rid of all this. Oh, let me get rid of that pipe hole. Oh, mind you, it's not going to do anything. So we can get rid of it, I think. Down and get this. It's on its side. Weird. I thought I saw another. There's one. Right. Okay. So we should be running out of crystal quartz. It's getting closer. You know what, I'm just going to get rid of the rest of this and change it directly. What we're going to do is just going to do that. How does that look? Either way I do this, it's not going to look particularly good because it doesn't line up properly. So get rid of that. Just go from that into that, and we'll have that weird thing. Or if I had it going, if I had that one coming straight towards me, you have a slight lean to the left. I think I might do that one. That looks a little bit. That looks a little bit better, marginally. Alright, so that's now done. So we've now got those 5 belts running through. And coming through nicely. Still a lot of cleanup to do. Even once I've finished these things, I'm going to have to redo each end of this to make this a little bit less of a mess as well, but we shall see. Right, so what's next? So next is that we will wait till this. So we've got where are they? These 3. That'll be the next one we'll do. These are 3. The rubber is actually not made in this part of the factory. It's made way over, even further away from where the generators are, in that sort of general direction. So they're belted in from way over there. And the cooling systems, which are the one in the middle, and the fuse modular frames, they are made in this area. So they're the next ones we'll do. We'll have them coming down, probably have them coming down in a similar location to these 3. We'll make them on the left hand side of this belt run. They go straight through, right through to the far end. I think they'll, yeah, that's all. I don't think there's any rubber used. Maybe rubber used. Rubber might be used. I think they go. Pretty sure they go straight through. Yeah, they go straight through, and they're used in parts of that in the south production area. So we'll probably do that one in the next episode. Get those going through, and that'll basically be all of these ones done. I've then got to do what I'm figuring what I'm going to do with the sulfur. So the sulfur is used in the sulfur comes from way over there, basically through the map, and comes on here. So we may leave that one for now, and figure out what to do with that one later. But I may even redirect that, repath that quite a lot. So that'll be that. Be part of. We might do that next episode as well. Let's get rid of these while we're here. So we'll do those 3 next, and then that'll basically mean that of these production towers, I think. So circuit boards are done. Heat sinks go elsewhere. So there's a couple. There's still other production towers I've got to built out of here that aren't actually needed elsewhere. So that'll be then probably the one that start to plan that in the end of next video as well. But yeah, this will be enough for now. Thanks for watching episode. I think this was 19. I've almost lost track, but I think it was 19 of Solar Factory. Yes, we'll come back. We'll deal with these 3 next episode, and then after that we'll figure what it looks like. Oh, let's get rid of this while we're here. Thank you very much for watching. I'll be back until the next one. See you later. Bye.